Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Debunked Paranormal. In today's video, we are looking at the channel Robbie and Penny. It was sent over by one of you guys to ask me to take a look. And in the email, the person said that they believe this is a parody debunk on other paranormal investigators. But going through his channel, I don't think that's the case. I truly think he does this to have his viewers believe that this is actually happening, because he's done so many of them. It's not just this one or two or three, it's multiple ones. Now I have to say that this is probably one of the best fake ghost videos, or the best fakers, or the best faker of ghost videos that I have seen. It's done really well. Now I don't believe he is the main editor on this. It could be. I don't want to say he doesn't have the skill. He could have the skill. I don't know. I don't know anything about this guy. But there's definitely someone helping him editing if it's him, because this is done. It's done really well. This is a team effort in editing alone. But okay, I'm gonna look at this video that was presented to me. Just once again, I don't think that this is a parody of paranormal videos, or to throw shade on paranormal investigators like Twin Paranormal and stuff like that. I think he legit does this and wants the viewers to think that it's real, because that's the vibe I get from his channel. So let's look at these clips. Now you would hear that the clips sound weird because I had to remove the background music. Otherwise my channel will get striked because I don't know what music they are using. Probably Epidemic Sound. I use Envato. They do not share the same music, so I would not be able to remove the strike if I use his music. So you will hear the sound sounds weird, but it's just to remove the background music. Now before we get started, please go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button, and let's jump into Robbie, because it's only going to be him in this video. Let's check out what happens to him and what he does.
Hello? Oh my god. Are you seeing this? What is happening?
So this first part, the condensation, or writing in condensation on a window. This effect gets used a lot in horror movies, and especially in Hollow Man. Now, obviously technology has improved significantly since Hollow Man, but this one is done really well. It is done really well. Now, what I believe happened here, it is CGI and practical effects, both. So CGI was used to write it, but then they left the CGI for too long before going over to practical effects, so making the switch to a practical effect. So the CGI is written first, the high in CGI. So if you don't know what CGI is, it's computer generated imagery. So you'll write that with CGI, and then once there's a movement or a flip of the camera or anything like that, when you pan back, it's going to be practical effects. So it will be there, and then the CGI needs to be removed. But I think they kept CGI for too long. So like here, they should have, from this point, they should have removed the CGI and have the practical effect in. And this is where the CGI ends. It ends right here. Right here, the CGI ends. So this is where the practical effects should have taken over, but it isn't. So if we go forward, I'll show you now what I mean. So if we go forward to about, I think it's about here. No, not there, still not there. Oh, yeah. And then there the practical effect takes over. So when he pans back, that's practical. So how I can tell that this is CGI, if we zoom in on this high that was written on the window, it's not a real ghost. If we check this out, there is a little slip up on the tracking of it. Right there. There's a little slip up. That one frame. So everything is tracked beautifully. And then that one frame right there slips up. You can see the H moving separately from the I. And then everything goes back to normal. So just that one part, the tracking slipped up. Which still is brilliant, by the way. Brilliantly done. So yeah, that's definitely CGI. It's fake. Next clip.
So at this point, it seems pretty obvious that something is trying to communicate with us. And I've been told that a Ouija board is not allowed in the house. So I came up with a new plan. I borrowed a little trick that I saw from Stranger Things Season 1. You know, where Winona Ryder's characters are running around the house all crazy like hanging up Christmas lights. Yeah, I did that. And put a corresponding letter card under each light. Now, what I've read about paranormal encounters and electricity is you just need the entity to touch the connection for it to work. So for the purposes of this exercise, we're gonna leave the lights unplugged. The last thing to do is wait for it to get dark. Here we go. Okay, if there's anything here, please turn on the lights. Oh! Is this you? Are you doing that? Oh my god, it's looking right at it. I am done for the night.
Okay, just that first part quickly. Also, there is CGI involved, but that's on the doll's eyes. But the lights itself, how was that done? So when he backs the camera up, so I'm just going to mute it here. So when he backs the camera up, you can see the camera going dead still. It gives a little bit of a shake and it's dead still. It's not moving. And then it starts shaking and moving. So that is actually him putting the camera down on a tripod to have it stationary. So while the camera is stationary over here, that's the stationary part of the camera. He no longer has the camera in his hands. So then you can keep filming, whatever. And then you just go and these light bulbs, they turn out. So if you turn them out just a tiny bit, they lose connection. I'll talk now about the plug, because it is plugged in, but it doesn't look plugged in, but it is plugged in. So then you just turn in, you turn it, you tighten it, and then it gets power again. So it makes connection to make power. So the very next frame, it's on already. So the next frame, and that's when the camera starts moving there. So it's still on the tripod. So that's that's the easiest way to do that. Yeah, so it's still, you walk forward, you just turn the bulb, you walk back, and you have that one shot, you walk forward again, you turn the other bulb, you walk back, and both bulbs are on. And you just slice. It's just slicing. That's all you do there. Easy. So, and then you have the doll, which is now looking up, which is actually CGI. That's not the real eyes. So if we go, because this tracking once again is done brilliantly, but you can't, I mean, it's difficult to explain this, but you can clearly see that those aren't the real eyes. You can see there's some of the tracking happening here that's bothering this part over here. If I go back and forth like that, do you see that? It's moving independently from the rest of the doll. That one part, it looks like it's half sliding. So that's part of the tracking just messing about. But you can see here, when he gets scared and he falls backwards, right there the real eyes are revealed, hiding behind the mask. If we go forward, there's the real eyes. There's the real eyes. These are the CGI eyes. And you can see them better there. So you can see the mask slipping as the camera is moving quicker. So yeah, that's definitely CGI. And then going forward a bit. Now he looks up. And here especially. See, next frame. It's still CGI. Those aren't the real eyes at this point. It's still CGI. Because if they were to flip from the CGI eyes to the actual doll eyes, it would be a drastic change and people would see that clear. But there's the real eyes there. There they're hiding there. You can see the CGI still sitting on top there. But here's the real eyes now. There's the CGI sitting, slipping. And going back. Those are the real eyes now. Yeah, so it's, once again, it's done very well. Now, the thing with, but how did they get power? How did they get power if you can clearly see the plug is unplugged? Well, if we go back to here, we can see that the plug is, there's one insulation tape used, piece of tape used to secure this wire to the wall. But in the very next frame, we have two now securing it to the wall. So what's happening here is, for this clip here, it was unplugged. There was no other plug involved. And for this clip here, they had to secure more tape to the wall to have the wire against the wall, because the plug that they were using was too heavy and kept ripping this one off of the wall, right? And if we go further on, I'll show you now with proof. Now we have 3 pieces of tape because it was just too heavy for the plug itself. And if we go past all of this nonsense, because now this is the same thing, just screwing that bulb in. And look at the plug here. As they were screwing the bulbs in, they obviously messed with the plug accidentally and they moved it. So you can see there, where's the plug there and where is it there? 2 different spots. But if we go forward, look at where the plug is, and then the plug falls backwards. You see that? Now, what did they do here to get this effect? Obviously, they masked out this area. This area is masked out completely with this area where the plug's supposed to go in. This is not the real area. This is a blank shot before they plugged it in, and then they just pasted this part over it to make it look like it's not plugged in, it's not even there. So that's how they did that. That's easy. Was that a good enough explanation, or should I try again?
It looks like we had an even more eventful night last night. This door's open.
Okay, so this one, it's quite easy. So this is shot, the door opening is shot with 2 different shots. So you have this shot where it opens up to this point before the flip, right? So this door is further open than it is over here. So the second shot has it more closed than open than this one. So how you would do this is someone would be in the closet and they would push that door open. Then you would flip out to the next camera and you would have a piece of string attached to the door, and you'll just yank it as hard as you can to have that open. And then you'll just slice those 2 together to make it seem like it flows into one. But they did it incorrectly, where the door is further open than it is here. So the slicing wasn't done properly there. But can't fault them for that. Now, next part. Everything opens and falls to one area. So the paper gets pulled off to this area. This opens up. Everything flies out of the drawers and falls to this area. These cupboards open up. These cupboards open up, but they open up this way. And this one, obviously, there's a piece of string just attached in a different area to pull it, and it will open up that way. Now, one thing that happens here is if we look at the piece of paper, this piece of paper, as soon as it gets yanked, you see this big change in light here on the right hand side. There's a big change in the noise. It means there's someone that's creating a shadow or is taking up some of the light in the room, and is when they move, the noise moves as well. So you can't see them, but they are in that room, just off camera. So just as this is being pulled, the noise gets louder. So louder noise in film, just it's more noise, more prominent, and then everything opens up. Now, one thing here is when he says, okay, look at, it's the next morning. Look at what is lying down here. So we can see this thing and we can see this thing. But if we go back to here, you can't see anything here. Now, you could say that, yes, but the chair is in the way. But I don't think that's the case. I just think they moved things for the next shot and forgot to film it. Or they redid that shot. So here, everything falls down. So in the corner there, there's some slicing happening here. Okay, so someone was here as well. Damn, so there's a big slice happening here, as you can see there. I don't know why it would be, because if you look at the whole scenario, how would you say that? If you look at the whole situation, the whole room, I don't see the point of having someone here and then keying them out if they can just be off camera here, because everything is coming this way. So this person was just keyed out, but there was a little bit of a problem here. You can see the slicing there. Slicing in there. But anyway, that's not what I'm trying to point out. We can see there's nothing lying here. So there comes, those are the forks and knives flying over there. But here's nothing laying here that we can see. And look at this thing moving backward and then disappearing. This is multiple shots in one. But there's nothing lying there. But the next morning, when he displays,
it looks like we had an even more of.
Going back, you can see those things lying there, which should have been seen from the previous angle, which is this angle. Should have been seen. So those were multiple shots and just used the best ones. But still, not bad. It fooled a lot of people. Last one, it is the Ouija board.
Let's begin. Is there anything here with me right now? Hi. Yeah. Hi. Okay. What is your name? A. N. A. Anna? Okay, Anna. Are you connected to the doll? Yes? Okay. Okay. Are you friendly? No? Are you trying to get rid of us? Yes? Too bad. That's not happening. Why are you doing this?
Okay, so this part with the Ouija board is also easy, but if you look closely, you'll find things. So right over here, look at this area. Let me just enhance that. You can see a lot of movement, but there's a specific spot that I want to show you guys. Seems like I lost it, but you can see a lot of masking happening. Like this black mark, it stays in that one position and then it moves away. And here you can see that through the planchette, this wording over here is visible right through the planchette. So just, this is a lot of work. Once again, this is not easy, but like I always say, if you look hard enough, you'll find the issues. You can see all over this planchette there are a bunch of issues, but there's one specific area where it's you can see a part of the mask slipping right here, right there. Look at that. You see that? Crazy. But you have to look really close to find it. And over here. It's interesting though. But still, I'm not going to fault them on that. I will fault them on that if they doing this to fool people. You can see it's multiple shots. Do you see? Parts of the planchette stays behind and then goes over. Like that's the nose of it. And then going back. Then it disappears. Definitely fake. Nothing real about it. Now, the one part about this that I do like, what they did here, is when he walks to the window, you can actually hear the sound getting louder in proportion to him walking, which was done well. So it is recorded separately. So someone is knocking on the window and he's walking closer with a microphone and then playing that sound in his video.
Too bad. That's not happening. Why are you doing this?
So that's done really well. And then this part is easy. It's easy for someone to stand outside and as he's opening up the window to pull out the screen, just a piece of rope tied around here. They're standing around the corner, yanking it hard enough. Just one yank will pull it straight out and not necessarily to the side. Because you can see that is the point where it happens. And then just falls out. So in my opinion, from what I can see, this is 100% fake. But it is one of the best fakes that I have seen. Small errors. Small errors. But done brilliantly. But still fake. I hope you are satisfied with the debunk. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.